Following the 2005 hurricane season, Congress provided the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers authorization and funding to construct the nearly $15 billion Greater New Orleans Area Hurricane and Storm Damage Risk Reduction System. The system will reduce the risk of damage from a storm surge that has a 1% chance of happening in any given year. In St. Bernard Parish, the perimeter system, known locally as the Chalmette Loop levee system, is comprised of nearly 23 miles of floodwall between Bayou Bienvenue and the Carnarvon Canal. There are also 12 steel floodgates to support both operations and maintenance of the system and safe passage of the area's wildlife through the floodwall. Other critical features that reduce the risk of flooding include the non-federal 40 Arpent levee and 8 interior pumping stations, which are owned and operated by the Lake Borgne Basin Levee District. The reinforced concrete floodwalls, called T-walls because they look like an inverted letter T, are being constructed on top of the existing levee to an elevation ranging between 26 and 32 feet. The floodwalls were designed to replace the pre-Katrina levee system, which had an elevation of only 14 feet at the lowest point. Approximately 300,000 cubic yards of concrete is being used to construct the floodwalls, which is nearly 2 times the amount of concrete used for the Superdome in New Orleans. First, the levee is degraded to provide the width necessary to begin construction of the floodwall. Next, oversized steel sheet piles are driven to a depth ranging between 20 and 40 feet into the center of the degraded levee to ensure that water doesn't flow through the soil underneath the floodwall. Oversized steel H piles are then driven on either side of the sheet pile to a depth of between 100 and 150 feet for added stability. Once the steel piles are driven, the steel reinforcement bars, known as rebar, are placed, and the concrete base slab is poured. The rebar is embedded inside the base and stem of the floodwall to increase the strength of the concrete. Finally, the concrete floodwall is poured. The plan called for construction of 2 miles of T-wall per month to complete this $1.5 billion part of the system on schedule. Near Bayou Bienvenue, the St. Bernard floodwall ties into the Inner Harbor Navigation Canal surge barrier, a 10,000-foot barrier close to the confluence of the Gulf Intracoastal Waterway and the Mississippi River Gulf Outlet. At Bayou Dupree, a steel sector gate at elevation 31 feet with concrete floodwall tie-ins will prevent storm surge from entering the channel. An older sector gate, which is at elevation 15.5 feet, will remain in place behind the newer structure. Across the Carnarvon Canal, a concrete floodwall and a steel sector gate at elevation 26 feet tie the St. Bernard system into the Mississippi River levees. The Chalmette Loop also has vehicular floodgates at Bayou Road, Highway 46, and Highway 39. In total, the project requires 207,000 tons of steel, nearly 50 times the amount of metal used to construct the Eiffel Tower. In June 2011, St. Bernard Parish and the Greater New Orleans area will have the best risk reduction system for a 100-year storm surge ever. For more details on the risk reduction system, construction projects, and other information, please visit www.mvn.usace.rb.